good to me.
I never even opened them. Okay, so there are some things that we can do with, obviously.
No, but I mean changes from this?
No,
Okay,
no.
all right, so, would someone like to vote to approve this? Or make a motion?
I make a motion or something.
Okay. All right, so then, yeah, so, again, essentially, this is, we took a couple things off, but it's essentially the same for Flying Feather. They are working, I've spoken to them about the attorney, so I haven't, gotten back to whether they had the conversation with their attorney, but I assume that also, the other things coming up is obviously they're gonna be closing the farm soon,
And they
right?
have more time.
And then they're closed for what, 4 months?
They close
at Thanksgiving.
the day before Thanksgiving, the day before.
And this is a busy time, because right now they're ordering,
Yes.
taking orders, and they have the mums and the pumpkins and everything, right? So,
And then they'll be off November for.
so it's likely that we won't have any action. From them, we can still, I mean, we won't meet in December, but we can, a subcommittee, we can still meet with them and talk to them. That's a good time to do it. September, December, January.
Who did you send the letter to? The mother?
I just went in and spoke to her.
Oh,
When I went in, both Sandy and Chris were there.
oh, great.
Yeah, so they were gonna talk to an attorney and, all that, yeah.
Good, oh, good.
And they had somebody, a family friend or whatever, that they wanted to use, I believe. I didn't follow up to find out who they chose, but they were caucusing. So that's the only, there's not, until, I assume they're not gonna be doing anything until farm stand closes. Are we, I mean, unless, I guess the old Swede Run barn house is our,
Actually, it's supposed to be on schedule now to be finished by the end of the year.
oh, the houses?
Yeah.
Okay, oh, good, and take out some fencing again?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Great. Who's gonna do that?
Who's ever working on
Okay.
Bill,
Is it Dave Schultz?
it. I don't think he's working on it.
no, Bill,
Bill Burris?
Yeah, is he not involved in it
He was,
I know
he
he
was a
gave,
money guy.
he gave money, but I don't know, I don't think he was like one of the, workers.
I think Tate was working on a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah? And I think the barn was a little bit of why we had it on, but we've obviously been talking for months about all the violations, so.
But like, they must have moved over there. Treehouse is down, whatever it is down.
Really?
Yeah. And,
Did you see it, or you just,
talked to Tom, he said, he gave me an update, I saw
Okay.
one of the parks, I was walking. and he saw-
okay,
He gave me an update, and then, he said it was about 80% or something like that, he said it wasn't 100%, but it was mostly down.
okay.
And I did see some tire tracks, on the light, it was dark, so it was a lot of tire tracks in and out of that area.
Is it trampoline
I didn't see that, it was kind of grown
now?
up.
I think they had moved it back onto
Yeah,
the
they moved
property,
that off the property, yeah.
back into the property.
He said for the most part, those are compliant, one I just want to tear out stuff, but they're not paying attention to it. He does everything.
That would be the trees.
Yeah.
They just have to take them out, that's a shame. But, you can't just go planting.
Who's the, oh no, number 4, who's the guy that you said was, Bill somebody? No, I said Bill. The builder, or the person that's sort of leading the effort to restore that.
It was Julie Marriage from the Historical Society, is the person that's been coordinating that.
How often do you see her? A lot?
Yeah, fair enough.
Does she have the money?
Yeah, I think they all.
And they just need to get somebody to do it?
But I think now there were delays, but I think she said she thought by the end of the year. That's great.
Let me get you on the right page.
What were you suggesting if it's,
Is this last month, is it this month?
parking right now, or are we waiting to see if we,
I wrote a letter to Kenny Ewers
okay,
and said, I'd like his input, what
Yeah.
he wants, what he doesn't want, if he can give me an hour. No, I know, I know that. So I'm trying to be polite, and nice, and saying, we're not trying to shove another line item on his budget and all. No, but it wasn't good, so I called today, hoping to get him, and so I'd have something to report to you, and he had left that stuff anyway.
for the hiking program, I will send around an email, because we have some monies that have been dedicated now. Hopefully we can just place the order in the next 2 weeks. We can collect up, I know a couple people said they would donate like here or whatever, so see who wants to do that, but mainly I need to make sure if we can write that we can write the checks to STEM, which is to everyone's benefit, because that's, you know. Okay, but that's it, so we'll send an email to that effect. But we do have some dedicated monies now. STEM is donating, Sustainable's donating, and there's a bunch of, so we probably have half the money raised. Yeah. So again, we'll just send an email to new business. I have a new business item I want to ask about, so I'm just going to make myself a note there. The fence on Westfield Road, I think without Tom here, we won't have any update for that, right?
One of the other drawings that I did was to avoid that altogether. That something Kenny wouldn't want, the public near his water tower.
Right.
So I think that's gonna go away.
Okay. Good, okay, so
So
we'll
you're
just keep,
working on an alternate plan?
Yeah, and one of the drawings that I had done for last time we met was, you're facing Mr. Morris Winter's house that's sold now to
Right.
somebody else that's in it. To the right of that, there's a 101 or 99-foot frontage that goes back deep. So I put a parking lot there, so plenty away from it.
this piece of land, and I have something to add to this. I'm just wondering what anybody thinks about this winter farm. There's a property for sale, it's in Cinnamon. It has a house on it, it's an acre on the Pennsauken Creek, right down there. And it's for sale for really, inexpensive. I guess there's nothing we could necessarily do, but maybe we could partner with Cinnamon. It's only like, $100,000 or something. Yeah. Maybe.
Has there ever been any cooperation with other townships for?
I don't know. I've never heard of it, but the county could come in.
That's true.
If the county wanted to do a ramp, that would be a possibility. So were we gonna have, let's see, who was Ron?
Right, and go.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that. So we'll leave it on. We don't,
Now, look, one of you sent me Rob Bartlett's contact information. Is that,
Yeah.
did you send me that?
okay, so we don't have any updates on that, but let's look into that other, that cooperative. See if that's ever a possibility. Again, it's not, wouldn't fall into like a farmland program for the county, but if the
Right.
county could get a program for both towns, yeah. The violations and encroachments, I guess we talked about that already, we kind of made a dent there, right?
Yeah, has Tom actually started, not something, has Tom done anything about talking to the town about the winter farm, or are they, from the county, about the county?
It's not a county
Not a
option.
county option?
No, that's really more for like the farms, and, the bigger farms, this is not the space.
Okay.
It's not even close, and they don't produce, and
Yeah,
it's
because
not.
they did, Boundary Creek, which is not farm
Right.
either, but that's,
Well, if
The
we,
little way.
again, if we were gonna get like a Cinnaminson property or something, yeah,
That's
that
true,
might be.
Simonson does own property along Pennsauken also.
Yeah, then maybe it's possible to get the county, I don't know, with the county, we could,
That's true, because Delran and Morristown are right next to one another for Boundary Creek.
Yeah.
So. it's
I wonder
true.
why there's no ramping or anything at Boundary, I guess it's so so, it's like a
Because
wetland.
it's so
It's too much wetlands. It's
Yeah.
Too much
yeah,
wetlands,
too-
yeah.
It's okay,
You're
it's
so
not,
far
there's too much
away from
wetlands,
it,
right,
really,
right.
it's true.
But like the people, the homes that are up the creek a little further, they have ramps and docks.
They have, I think they were easement,
Grandfather kind of thing.
grandfathered in from a long time ago, they probably put in there.
'Cause they have some bigger boats there.
Are they on the Morristown side? I think they're on the,
You know,
Yeah,
we
it's on
come-
the far side.
yeah, but I think that some people have like gazebos out on top of,
But you know
wetland
that,
area.
right, when you go, over, you know the little bridge?
Yes.
That one house right down there, they have something. And that house wasn't built that long ago, because I remember when it was built.
It must have likely.
That little square house that just kind of plopped there. I don't know. I think, you know, our main business right now is, that's it. We'll do the money for the bags, and hopefully we can get the order completed by the end of the year.
Now, I know our group is actually to acquire properties, but, you know, who's trying to maintain that we acquire, you know?
We're in charge of that too. We're actually, you know, our whole thing, let me pull out my book here. I mean, we acquire the properties, but we're also in charge of educating the public for, on the spaces and making sure they're maintained and, I mean, is this the one I'm still looking
I
for?
mean, did Tom ever get back to us about why,
We're supposed to refine the list. We could do a little bit of a list. Maybe we should put that back on.
the value of, public works went doubled in 1 year, and they ever get back to us about that? This was going on in the spring, I don't know if it was continuing again in September or not. Remember, they was
Yeah.
$60,000 last year,
Yeah.
this year $120,000 previous
Mhm.
year. at the end
Yeah.
of that. And they said, because they have more people, what if that justify, you know,
Mm-hmm.
more people means more work done too, and I don't see anything happening, getting more stuff done.
Yeah. I think it's a valid complaint. I don't know how much it's our committee to look at it. It is, but it's also like as citizens, I think it's something we go to the town council about.
Right.
That we think more money is being taken out of the fund than should be, or double that amount, right?
The maintenance.
Yeah.
It's like there's a ratio, I think it's 7.
But I don't know
It
that-
is, but that was up at 7/12, so the people who work, now they have more people in there then. See, we think more things are getting done around all the property, but
But it's
they're
not.
It's actually being, they're just taking 7/12 of the money, roads and public works for
Mm-hmm.
open space.
Yeah.
Now they have more people on open.
And is
than
the
public works.
outsourcing coming from open space too, when they have
No,
lawn service come in?
Right, yeah. I don't know. I mean, and one of our goals here on the master plan is that we should be looking to create a stewardship maintenance program for the monitoring of open space and easement acquisitions, such as the STEM and all that. So, I don't know, maybe we need
yeah.
to, maybe we need to kind of lean that way more towards,
The one meeting, I think it was June, you were out, and I was, when they always trying to put pressure on Tom to, you know, cut the grass over at Sweet Run. It was terrible, the trail was
yeah.
overgrown. They cut it once, and then they said they're not interested in doing it, you know, on a semi-monthly basis.
But yeah, it's
But
probably.
they-
Public works.
Public work, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so, and I, you know, I just don't, I don't know how we can, I guess Tom is a point of contact with Public Works to get things done.
Mhm.
And then-
I did send, when we had the meeting in May and we brought it up as a concern, how much money was going towards maintenance, I did send a letter to Scott Carew, but his response basically was along the lines of he didn't think it was the open space committee, advisory committees,
Or how to go somewhere that didn't belong.
to decide on how the monies were to go. Or to consult on it, I don't know, so I mean, I'm just saying that's kind of what, so I haven't really pursued it that route, I don't know if it's more of a individual citizen's concern. I don't know. But, I mean, it's something that we should keep looking at, because it affects the funding that we have to acquire.
We just keep it on the agenda then, so we can actually, that's right, we can take the money out, the person was nothing really left, and then why are we here?
Yeah. So let's put on the agenda for next month, the funds.
Because I can see it happening, next year, we'll take, you know, $220,000.
Yeah.
Especially with the dam and storage like.
It's,
No,
no,
I
it's,
understand that, they understand that, that's
For
a,
the maintenance.
right, right.
Yeah.
The lawn. And the problem is, once they let it go 1 or 2 months, it's harder to
Yes.
maintain
It
it.
is.
You have to mow it 3 times, and then it's still looks terrible.
So leave the tractor there, also cut it, if you don't want to leave it for it.
Do you need, and you don't need like a hog brush or anything, it's just a
It did because it was so high, it was 3 feet high.
brush hog, not
Brush
hog
hog,
brush.
yeah.
I knew I was saying that.
Close.
You know,
Not
but, you
hedgehog.
know, if you don't maintain, if you don't maintain the weeds on the side, they
Yeah.
all start migrating into the
Briars and
gravel and like that. So,
Mhm.
so that's,
Mhm. And the path is beautiful, it's out
it
there.
was, if you turn around, it's not now, it's mostly weeds now. So it's not.
Really?
It needs to be, yeah, it needs to be, you know, redone or just touched up or, you know, a weed killer put down and do something to maintain it.
Okay.
And then,
All right, I don't know who it is, can I talk about the, you remember they were doing 2 dozen Roundup?
yeah, I know that, yes.
And so the woman said,
Oh,
no
okay.
more Roundup, she got,
Well, they said that he was doing something, I don't know what material was used, there were certain guidelines that the county puts out for what they're allowed to use for killing all the weeds before he puts his.
you don't think it was Roundup?
No, we never got a confirmation of what he actually put down, but we know that was a concern, that make sure he used following the guidelines that the county puts out. And I think it
I would
was discussion,
assume
it was
that-
discussion that you said, oh, he's not one that's to follow the rules, and he's
Yeah.
kind of.
Why don't I also print out that email that I wrote based on our May meeting and sort of what happened was also when we brought the issues up in May, and I wrote the email right after all the issues that were how that land is being used and the monies and all that. It was right when the county was moving, or when the town was moving the offices, and the tensions in the
Yes.
offices were very high.
Right.
And so
They-
I just
they're-
said,
which is fine, I
right,
understand.
well,
And who did you write that to?
I wrote it to Scott, to the township manager, but they were right in the middle of the move, and I think just packing
Because I got
up
some
and,
interesting feedback from Big Clever too, about that, we're going at the same time.
yeah, I just think, they were kind of overburdened
Yeah,
at the time. So I think that if we brought it up a different time, the response might be a
I
little
would
more.
I would like to revisit that, because here's what
Yeah,
happened,
okay.
here's what I think Q is on there now, this year, when his 5-year lease was up last year.
Mhm.
What he does is he'll harvest, and then he'll spray something on there, I don't know whether it's fertilizer or something, and then the next year, he said, well, you can't kick me off, I did this, I prepared the field, right? And it's an
Right.
ongoing thing,
right,
John, you
yes,
know?
right.
And that
It's been my father for
issue,
years, you know?
the issues that we had concerns about, Tom did address some of those. I think it was before our last meeting, because we didn't, it must have been before the September meeting.
So you have to really keep that before you harvest the thing, so this, this would be last year where it's gonna be, we're gonna pick them out.
Once
Yeah.
you prep the field.
When you lease from the township, we do lease from the township. There are rules and regulations when you sign it, you must follow them.
Right.
And one is like cover cropping for the winter,
Mhm.
which I think is excellent,
Mhm.
because you need to preserve
It
the
makes the
soil.
soil.
Yes,
Well,
because when
that's
you do
all
rye,
right.
oats, whatever you do, clover, it keeps the soil in from the roots, and then you're adding nutrients back.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things for us, when we sign that we must cover crop, which we do anyway.
So is that not cover crop?
I don't know.
Once he clears, he's
I don't
cleared, yeah,
think it
I've
is.
done, he didn't harvest yet, so once he harvests it, then he's supposed to cover crop, and he always does.
Does he cover crop with
He
rye?
always, yeah, I think it's right.
Yeah, because
He always does, I mean, I go by there lots of times, it's always green there, so it's always.
I would assume it was rye, which is good, and then he's putting nutrients.
So what's done here, rye, clover, and what else?
Could you put
Oats, whatever it is,
I mean,
But isn't the problem that we're under the Green Acres thing, we're not
Not
supposed
supposed
to
to
be farming it?
It's beyond the years.
That's right, so we should follow up on this letter.
Yeah.
And this
Because
group,
it puts in.
And I can't remember what Tom told us.
It doesn't generate a lot of money for the town, it's more of a.
They did meet the day of our last meeting, right? They hadn't addressed it all that time, but then it was addressed right before the day of our last meeting. And I just don't remember. No, I honestly, I can't remember. It must have been before the meeting they told us, but it's not in our notes, right?
No,
And this is October, that was September, we didn't meet in August, right?
no.
What
So
is our
it had to
recommendation for
be-
that property, to have it continue, or to have it?
well, that's
Well,
not,
I don't
it's not
think he
up to
can.
us. It's up to Green Acres.
Green Acres,
Unless they
they
extend
were
it.
shocked that it was being farmed.
Yeah.
So it should be farmed according to Green Acres.
possibly.
Right, and then you put in jeopardy, the same as with the encroachments, you put in jeopardy the property because you're not following.
They could rescind the funding.
It's supposed to be back to a natural area, or what's it supposed to be?
It's whatever.
Or-
But it's for public access.
Public, and if someone's farming it, it's not.
That's
public
right.
access.
Public access and open space, not farming, or choose to lease them for.
I think this group should discuss what we're gonna promote. The pathways that Harry's donated to put in there.
Mhm.
Maybe we restore them, maybe we add.
Felt they
Put
put 'em in,
it
yeah.
$75,000 to $90,000 to put them in, and if you're just gonna let them go away, I mean, it's ridiculous, you should try and maintain it.
Yeah.
And I know we can get,
Once you lose
along
it,
the
it's
lines
not
of also, we're
easy.
supposed to do the stewardship program, for those tracks, I bet we could make the track team, stewards for that, and have the
Yeah,
kids work on it.
That's a big job, though, because really you need equipment to actually, regrade stuff. And,
Yeah. You have to like,
Just, regrade it and,
A lot of washout
yeah.
should be.
I mean, it's 2.25 miles.
Well, it takes a little box,
On the
a
trail.
tractor with a box scraper in the back,
Yeah.
and just,
Right.
and then something to spread it back down again, to make sure it's only 4 feet wide, or it was at one time. It wasn't a pristine job, like Boundary Creek is the trail.
Right.
The county did a nice job there, but
Yeah, no, I
I don't know if they even took the topsoil off and put the stones down, so, that's not the right way to do it, but it's something that's a base, you keep putting more stone down on top, but eventually will be a firm trail like
And
that.
it's used enough.
Yes.
All right, so let's add for our agenda the monies and the trails and the
Not even
farming.
just in that property, but all the properties too, because
Yeah.
basically they're maintaining Strawberry Lake with the open space money, why not maintain the other properties that we acquire also?
Yeah.
that are needed, right? And it was the,
Yeah,
John Pugh.
again, I think it kind of shut down the
thing.
questions, it was to the effect of, if it costs too much to maintain, then we're not gonna be able to acquire anymore, was the effect of the message I got, so. But again,
From
but who knows, again, it might have been just bad time, and, so I'll bring that email, I'll print it out.
We'd be interested to hear what town council has to say about that, if we saw them, and they say, oh, well, he said we're not, can't acquire more property, because it costs too much to maintain it. I mean, I think that's.
I mean, a lot of them are no maintenance, like the land we got on Tom River, there's no maintenance,
Right.
right?
Yeah, but there's,
Banners,
something putting
I mean, not
that,
banners.
parking lots and like that becomes a maintenance issue.
Right.
Like, even if you put a park on it, now you put a trash can there, and the trash can have to collect the trash.
We've talked about trash.
I know.
They won't.
Which is silly though, because the trash gets just thrown there then.
Right.
Mhm.
That was the question that I had. When you go by the ball fields, the trash is unbelievable.
Really?
They don't have, there's trash cans.
They
either.
still don't have recycling there.
And it's
Yeah.
just so upsetting, because I remember when we coached, it was the coach's job to make sure that the players, you had a trash bag,
Right.
and you took that trash bag home with you.
Right.
And then you disposed of it. We're paying someone on Sunday
Mhm.
to go around to every single field and pick up all the trash. And
It's awful. Under the bleachers.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
and
not
the kid, I mean, in my
That's
humble
out.
opinion, the kids should be using reusable bottles
Yes.
still. There's no reason they should bring in throwaway bottles to the games.
that's true. So that, is that something that we
You're
can
not
discuss
very
with
smart.
sustainable and rec center, the rec center?
Now the township is paying someone to go in and clean up.
On Sunday, yes, the big, is there.
Where's that money coming from?
You know what it's.
That's what I'm curious.
All right, so, yeah,
It's a
To me,
shame.
to me, that could be eliminated. Every coach takes the trash bag home, or each parent takes.
You know what the leverage point is, that they don't get the permit to use the field. You know,
And they just,
somebody's giving them a permit and saying, okay, you're scheduled for
So they have to
adult
sign it's
baseball on this
eliminated?
field for certain.
or you'll be fine.
you know what else we're gonna put on there? Review the potential open spaces. So next month,
Okay.
we're gonna go through all that are on the list, see if they're valid. And were you and I talking about the 18-acre property that, we were talking about this just personally, like that, the old, airport.
Rebecca, yes.
So it's being developed, is that,
Yeah, I haven't talked to Johnny in a while, but he,
they're putting a whole bunch of homes in there?
On Tom Brown Road?
airport representative.
Westfield.
Let's go.
Or the airport.
Yeah,
Still hangers there.
It's the same, right?
Yeah, he's got two equipment or some antique clocks in there, I'm not sure what's in there.
Will you add to the notes that we wanna go over these things in the next month's meeting, just so Tom will see it as well? The potential open spaces, the, use
Existing
and
open space.
existing, yeah, like, and use at Benner Farm for continued funding. And also the, open space fund,
And could we have
Our
the
land
trash? I don't
preservation.
know how we start with that.
trash,
The trash
He
on
goes the,
the open space.
what's the name of the woman who runs,
Trash
Trash.
on fields.
the sports
school for
program? What's her name?
Teresa
Here's
Miller.
another, yeah.
It's just an excuse for it.
I was thinking the place to start would be have a quiet, non-accusatory, non-confrontational talk with her, and say, what can you do about it?
Or the rec advisory committee too,
Right, and just say,
they would be good, because a lot of
let me
the,
stop and took pictures or something.
wow,
You know,
I'm
it's
repeating
wall.
myself, but I like the story. One time, I decided to stop at the Cinnamons and Fields. They have a huge, I mean, that's, have you ever done the Cinnamons and looked down there, if you keep going out, right? Gargantuan field, and it was spotless, you know, it's like, it was a Monday, right? So they had all weekend to trash it up, right?
well, it's an interesting, I mean, it's divergent from our topics here, but the whole thing with kids getting trophies for every sport and then not cleaning their fields is, you know, I think issues that we should look at.
Part of it.
Not here for our committee, but.
Maybe instead of packing bags, we should get that trash.
Trash bag.
Yes. And don't put a trash bag in.
I still think that falls on the town, because if the town, you know, if they put a dumpster at each
Yeah.
facility, you know, that has a
Well, maybe have it this,
valve on it. You know, if you put nothing there, it's just gonna be thrown on the ground. If you put something there, they're gonna fill that up, and you gotta make sure it's empty. So, you know, we have a,
You know, they're there, because we walk our dog there, and we seek out those trash cans, they have liners in them, and
Yeah,
so,
it's all set up.
And it's-
and the
still
kids
not
are not,
used.
no.
yeah, I mean, we were just at a football game, a college football game the other day, and some girls went around and gave every single tailgate a bag
I
for
like that.
recyclables.
That's great.
I mean, maybe we can empower the coaches somehow, maybe that'll be our next year project, because we've been doing education every year. Maybe next year would be working with the rec team to buy trash bags, for each clear bag for the recyclables. Because if they take the recyclables out, there's not much trash left
right,
That's true.
on those fields. And most of the recyclables are not getting recycled,
Right.
which is a shame.
And they collect so much that he pulls, the trailer behind, the pickup truck every Sunday.
The bags and
Who
stuff.
is that, who's that?
It's in township employee,
Okay.
yellow pickup truck.
Yeah.
Maybe also this program that we're talking about, working with the younger kids, maybe we can incorporate this in, yeah?
The trash can and having interactive and all these sort of ideas, it's really, it should be, every mother and father with their little kids should go pick up 20 things and get rid of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's the kid.
I have also a Facebook group that for some reason I just like started, but it's more South parents. Like, bring that up on there.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, there was like the same 10 people on
What's
it for
that
5 years,
tweet
but all of
up?
a sudden people are just adding like crazy.
Yeah.
So I think now it's like an actual
Communication
page.
Should be almost automatic. you
Yeah.
know. But if they just have one
No, no,
ridiculous
no.
trash can, it's
No,
not.
no, they're pretty, they're right by the parking lots and stuff, one up by the toilets.
We've had the recycling issue for a while, we've been talking about that, but
That's
that's
as bad as
sustainable
people, right?
and everybody, yeah.
It's very good
I'm talking about what's statistic, right?
Yeah.
If everybody's okay, I'd like to conclude the meeting, 'cause I think that's part of our, we, and
Public
we
comment?
make a motion to,
You get to have it early.
The new face today, I don't recognize this one this time.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.